name is Kevin. This will be entry number 8. I figured for the next couple reviews, I'm going to do another kind of mini series or trio, whatever. I'm going to be looking at some local porters, flavored porters specifically. It's a style that's apparently taking off. So I've got 3 of them. We'll check them out. We're going to start with actually another Mill Street product, their vanilla porter. Then we're going to another Tank 10 series by Great Lakes. This is their Harry Porter and the bourbon-soaked vanilla bean. That one's going to be interesting because it's not actually a bourbon-soaked beer or a bourbon-aged beer. They just soak the vanilla beans before they put them into the beer, so we'll see what that's like. And then we're going to do Lake of Bay's Old North Mocha Porter, which has Diesel House coffee in it. Beer in the news. There's an interesting Kickstarter campaign on right now for a new brewery that's going to be under the OCB Split Rail Brewery. They are going to be establishing themselves on Manitoulin Island, and they'll be the first brewery there. And another interesting thing about it is that the 2 partners that are getting it going are both women. Now, I kind of dodged this issue last week when I was talking about the underparticipation of women in craft beer, but since it's come up twice now, I figure I should probably actually address it. So I'll give you my view on the matter, and I'd be interested to hear what you guys think on it as well. We're, as craft drinkers, very quick to go after big beer for stupid advertising campaigns that are demeaning towards women at best, and at worst, tacitly support the idea of getting women drunk past the point of consent. Less so now. It was more common probably in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, but nonetheless, historically it's been pretty bad, and that's something we generally point to when we're saying why a craft product is better. It doesn't have to resort to these sorts of things. That being said, there are a number of breweries which I'm sure you've noticed do feature women on the label of, shall we say, exaggerated proportions, usually dressed in something fairly skimpy. And there's an argument to say, well, it's just a bit of fun, or, she's dressed up like a beer maiden, it's sort of a historic thing, but the problem is that's all you see. And when I'm looking at that, I have to think, if I was a woman, what would I have to think if I saw that? And the message would be that you're not really being included in the majority of beer drinkers. When you see a male figure on a beer, it can be anything from, Rogue has a single figure that's dressed in different outfits. You see anything from Backwoods Bastard, where you see a weazened old man, all the way up to, think of the Highlander Smoked Porter, which has a big buff guy carrying a hammer on it. So you see the full range of male figures, but when you see a female figure, it is universally an exaggerated, scantily clad, enticing figure. And that's a bit monotonous. I'm 6'4" and I get asked every day, do I play basketball? Joke gets old. So even if it isn't something offensive, the fact that it's so repetitive should probably get addressed. I think if we can overcome that, we'll see a lot more female participation. Just off the bat, we won't be excluding people who might totally be into the hobby, but just see that and they're like, you know what, that's enough. I don't want to deal with that. So that's my spiel on it. Leave something in the comments if you have a particular view on the matter. And now, let's get to the beer review. As it turns out, it's another Mill Street product. This is their Vanilla Porter. Came out, I believe, early, or rather late last year. They've done a coffee porter for quite a while now, so they're, I suppose, versed in doing flavored porters. But this one's done in a different format. That one's a bottled one. And the nice thing about craft beers is when you read the back of some of the good ones, you get a lot of information. So I'll actually take the time to read it out to you. A cult favorite from our Toronto brew pub, Vanilla Porter is an extra smooth, nitrogen-charged English-style dark ale, brewed with pure vanilla extract. So in that first sentence, you're already getting a couple of things. One, you're finding out that the beer is nitrogen-charged, which I'm a little bit iffy on. There's a bit of a debate. Some people say nitrogen charging is fine. It just makes the beer more creamy. Some people it adds a weird taste. My main issue is that when you open a nitrogen-charged can, it goes all over the damn place. So that's my main issue with nitrogen-charging beers. I can't say that I've noticed a distinct flavor difference. I mean, I do notice that they all come out sort of the same consistency, but anyhow, we're getting off topic. Then they give you some tasting notes. Chocolate flavor dominates the beer with underlying tone of dried fruit and subtle finish that leaves you wanting more. The other thing that this little spiel has told you is that they're using vanilla extract, not vanilla beans. Um, some breweries will put vanilla beans directly into the wort. Some of them, I guess, like this one, just add vanilla extract. And it's helpful to know before you're buying the beer what's actually gone into it. So I'm going to try to open this without getting it all over myself. We'll see if this one's a gusher. Huh, it's actually not too bad. But, oh, there you go. I already see it trying to escape the glass there, or rather the can. So I'm going to try to pour this gently, not make a mess. Oh, there we go. It's all about not having any fear with these nitrogen-charged beers. Just throw them into the glass and they can't go everywhere. Alrighty, so you're seeing there, it's developed a nice creamy head. Over in the light, it's a very dark ruby brown color. I can see the light through it. It is quite dark though. Let's get that out of the way. So as you can see, nice looking beer. Got a little bit of carbonation around the edges of the glass there. I'm getting immediately almost like a vanilla shake kind of smell. A sort of sugary vanilla, almost like a vanilla and milk. Maybe a little bit of the chocolate right at the end. Not getting much in the way of coffee, which you'd expect in a porter. A lot of them have that kind of black coffee sort of smell. This has got a really, really strong vanilla note. All right, well, let's give it a taste. Cheers. So what you're getting on the nose pretty much carries through into the taste. It's just a huge hit of, well, vanilla extract, basically. Um, it's not overly sweet, but it's sort of a weird thing in that it's such a clear vanilla flavor, your brain's almost expecting it to be sweet. So even though I wouldn't call this a sweet beer, it it feels like it's going to be when you drink it. And I can't really shake that too much. There's a little bit of the chocolate note in the back again, but it's actually kind of hard to taste the sort of porter underneath it, at least right now. It's still pretty cold. This one isn't quite as strong as their coffee porter, which is 5.4%. This is flat 5%. It does say right there, serve cold. So I got this right out of the fridge. So we'll see. I'll give it a chance to warm up, see what happens. And I'll get back to you then. Welcome back. I've let this get up to about room temperature, which has brought out more complex flavors for me, at least. That coffee note that you expect to get in a porter is there. You do have to dig for it a bit, like really get your nose in there to smell it. And there's a sort of nuttiness now that's come out now that some of the more roasted flavors are out. But as a porter, it's definitely much lighter than I'd expect. That might have something to do with the fact that it's a little bit lower alcohol and they've used wheat, actually, as well as just barley. Um, so from that standpoint, it's not quite what I expected, to be honest. And for me, I guess as a beer drinker, it's a bit heavy on the vanilla. Like in both smell and taste, like you do almost have to overcome that to actually smell and taste the beer that's underneath it. It's just a little bit overpowering for me. That said, if you know people who don't drink craft beers and not really into super heavy flavors, this might be a good introduction to something a bit more interesting. And in a way, it's almost two beers. When you first get it out of the fridge, it's pretty much like an alcoholic milkshake. Really, all you're getting is that kind of milky, creamy note and the vanilla. So it goes down quite smooth because it's nitrogen charged, and you can have it almost to like a root beer float kind of smell and taste to it. But if you do let it warm up, you are going to get a little bit more nuttiness, a bit of that coffee, and a bit more chocolate, especially in the finish. Um, so I would say pick it up just to experiment with it. I think it's just under $3 for a 440 ml can. And like I say, try it both ways. Try it ice cold and try it warm. See which one you like better. Alrighty, see you on the next one.